It's Friday, the 9th of August 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1. Former Qantas chief executive Alan Joyce will lose more than $9 million of his pay after a board-commissioned review found mistakes made by the airline's management created, quote, significant reputational and customer service issues.
The governance review, which was announced amid intense political and investor pressure last year, found the deterioration of Qantas's relationship with customers and regulators was due to too much deference to a long-tenured CEO. It found that the board didn't always challenge management and the company ignored non-financial risks. It also said that Qantas had a command and control leadership style with centralised decisions. This created a culture which impacted empowerment and a willingness to challenge or speak up on issues. Now, the report also said Qantas often had an adversarial approach to engagement with key stakeholders and external communications. Mr. Joyce led Qantas for 15 years until last year. He'll lose $9.3 million of his 2023 pay packet, meaning he'll earn $14.9 million for that year. Incoming chair John Mullen said it's important that the board understood what went wrong during a turbulent period after the COVID-19 pandemic and learns from its mistakes.
Sean, what do you make of this? Is Qantas accepting enough responsibility, or are they throwing Alan Joyce under the bus?
It's probably closer to throwing Joyce under the bus. Having said that, the CEO creates a culture and Qantas was top down. Alan Joyce has been made the scapegoat for what happened, but he was CEO. He bears the primary blame. That's fair. Remember, his reputation ahead of all that was fantastic. He was involved in setting up Jetstar. He led the group as it built the loyalty program to be the most powerful in the country. He stared down pilots, grounding aircraft in 2011. It certainly showed his strength, that one. Probably best of all, he got Qantas through COVID. He's not the first CEO to have a bad end tarnish an otherwise good reputation. Brian Hartzer and Ian Narev from Westpac and Commonwealth Bank, respectively, put them in that group. So too, Reserve Bank Governor Phil Lowe.
All right, moving on to story number 2 now. And Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock was speaking at the Rotary Club in our hometown of Armidale in northwestern New South Wales yesterday. And returning to her local community, Sean, didn't exactly soften her rhetoric. She said the central bank won't hesitate to lift interest rates if it thinks it needs to.
In fact, specifically, I know this is not what people want to hear, but the alternative of persistently high inflation is worse. It hurts everyone. The Reserve Bank and the government are at odds over whether government spending is hindering the fight against inflation. Yesterday, Ms. Bullock said governments were doing what they can do to balance their responsibilities to fight inflation and spend money on services. She said that given where inflation is and the relative strength in the labour market and what the Reserve Bank is hearing when talking to businesses, there doesn't seem to be anything in the market that's going to allow the bank to lower interest rates. Michelle Bullock was actually born and bred in Armidale. She was Ducks and captain of a local high school, went to university there, spoke in front of a bunch of friends yesterday.
Yeah, indeed. Story number 3, a bit of good news for renters. The monthly pace of rental growth has slowed to its lowest in 4 years.
National rents rose just 0.1% during July, which is in stark contrast to the 40% surge in rents over the past 5 years. The median dollar amount increase over the 5 years is about $180 per week. CoreLogic Australia economist Caitlin Ezzi said there's a broad rolling trend across the country, even though results are different across cities. Rents rose 0.6% in Adelaide, 0.3% in Melbourne and Perth, flat in Darwin and Canberra, but they actually fell in Sydney, Brisbane and Hobart.
Story number 4, plenty going on among the retailers with significant discounting at Myers fashion brands and lower spending across its department stores weighing on its profits.
Sales were down almost 3% last financial year, the company warned ahead of its official result next week. Myer said sales have been affected by the closure of its Brisbane City and Frankston stores, as well as restraint among customers who are paying higher mortgages, according to a report in the Fin Review. Shares in the company fell more than 6% yesterday. Meanwhile, Mosaic Brands, which operates Miller's, Katie's and Noni B, this week brought in Deloitte to help refinance and restructure the business after a pretty tough period where sales have slumped. In South Africa's Woolies Holding, or Woolworths Holding, has engaged Boston Consulting Group to advise on how to cut millions of dollars from its country road business. Plenty of pain in retail land.
Indeed, there is. Last one, story number 5. NASA is considering asking Elon Musk's SpaceX to shuttle 2 astronauts back to Earth from the International Space Station following a few technical difficulties with the spacecraft that they took to get there.
Astronauts Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore, who were supposed to return to Earth nearly 2 months ago, may now stay at the station until February, according to a report in the Financial Times. SpaceX had a mission to the space station planned for later this month to deliver crew and supplies, but the US Space Agency has now pushed it back until September to weigh up whether it should bring the astronauts home. The SpaceX mission may carry only 2 astronauts aboard instead of 4. That'd leave 2 seats for Wilmore and Williams to come home early next year.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Friday, the 9th of August, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.